The Heaven Sword and the Dragon Saber is one of Jin Yong's most popular wuxia novels. It is brim full of action and adventure. The story takes place during the Song Dynasty. There are a few love stories and plenty of conspiracy, betrayal, and intrigue. One of the first conspiracies we come across in the book is who murdered Zisun. When Zisun was assassinated, there were several suspects. The first suspect was the leader of the Beggars clan, but he had an alibi. Another suspect was the leader of the Red Flower Society. However, when Zhang Wuji investigated, he discovered that this person wasn't even present at the conference where Zixun was killed. In reality, it was Wan Zhen'er who had taken his life. She was working with the secret organization known as the Blackwood Altar. They wanted to start a war between the Ming and the Central Plains martial arts sects. So they framed all of these events on Ding Mingxi. Another conspiracy we see is that of the marriage between Zhang Wuji and Zhao Min. After reading the first few chapters, it seems like Zhang Wuji will end up marrying Yin Susu. However, halfway through the story, another female lead is introduced named Zhao Min. She initially appears to be a villain, but eventually she becomes Zhang Wuji's second wife. I thought this was kind of weird, since in Chinese culture you're not allowed to have multiple wives. But after doing some research, I found out that this is actually pretty common in historical fiction. Having two wives was normal back then. Also, these novels are loosely based on real history. The novel The Heaven Sword and the Dragon Saber was actually based on the events of the Battle of the Blue and the Sky, which took place in the year 1325. The Ming court had a special decree which allowed generals to take two wives. This was put in place so that if a general's wife bore him no children, he could marry someone else. It was for the continuation of a family bloodline. Of course, this didn't apply to Zhang Wuji because he wasn't a general, but I thought this was interesting to note. Okay, now let's move on to the main topic of today's video. Who is the father of Zhang Wuji? We know that Zhang Wuji's mother was Zhao Rou, who was the leader of the White Lotus cult. His parents fell in love with each other, but they were forbidden lovers. Because of their different backgrounds, after Zhang Wuji was born, Zhao Rou and her lover had to escape. Eventually, Zhao Rou gave birth to twins, but sadly, one of them did not make it. She named her surviving son Zhang Wuji. She traveled around for many years. She was always worried about her son's safety, so she made sure to hide his identity. Later on, she married the leader of the Beggars clan and settled down. Zhang Wuji grew up thinking that the leader of the Beggars clan was his father. But in reality, this man was just his stepfather. After reading the first half of the book, I assumed that the leader of the Beggars clan was really Zhang Wuji's biological father. Why do I think this? Well, in Chinese culture, you show respect to your elders by calling them older brother or older sister instead of saying brother or sister. For example, if you have a younger brother, you would never call him brother. You would call him older brother. If you want to call your older sister, you would say older sister, never sister. In the novel, when Zhang Wuji addresses the Beggars leader, he calls him older brother. Also, the way the Beggars treated Zhang Wuji was more like how you treat your own son. At one point, the Beggars even wanted to choose a wife for Zhang Wuji. When he refused, they became very angry. One of the Beggars even threatened to disallow him from setting foot into the Beggars' territory ever again. How disrespectful is that? Normally, people wouldn't talk to their own son like that. Another thing that confused me was why was Zhao Rou so afraid to reveal Zhang Wuji's parentage? Wouldn't it be nice if he knew the truth? If anything, it would boost his self-esteem. Perhaps this was because she feared for his safety. It was dangerous being the son of a high-ranking government official. But still, I don't think that would have been a problem. The leader of the Beggars clan was willing to protect him. In chapter 29, we meet a character named Wei Yixiao. He is a member of the four great families and serves under Yin Tianzheng. Yin Tianzheng and Wei Yixiao came to the capital city to investigate who leaked the secret documents to the Mongols. Wei Yixiao has a very unusual name. It doesn't sound Chinese at all. When I saw this, I got really excited because maybe, just maybe, he was Zhang Wuji's father. The timing worked perfectly, and the fact that he had a foreign name made him a perfect candidate. But unfortunately, he wasn't his father. There was another character that I thought could possibly be Zhang Wuji's father. His name was He Tieku. He was a subordinate of Yin Tianzheng and was one of the leaders of the Escort Alliance. He also has a unique name that doesn't sound Chinese. He was introduced in chapter 146, By this time, Zhang Wuji had already figured out that the leader of the beggars was not his real father. The moment Hiteku appeared in the story, he started calling the leader of the beggars older brother. Also, Hiteku was extremely respectful towards Zhang Wuji. He treated him like a nephew, not a subordinate. I thought maybe Hiteku was his father, but he wasn't. If you're enjoying this video and want to hear more about Jin Yong's novels, consider following. Now let's move on to the big question. Who is Zhang Wuji's father? Before I reveal the answer, let me give you a few hints. He is one of the most powerful characters in the novel. He has a special ability that makes him extremely dangerous. And finally, he has a unique name that does not sound Chinese. Do you know who he is yet? If not, I'll give you one more hint. He's the leader of one of the 4 biggest families in China. Still don't know? Okay, here's his name. Yin Li Zheng. When I first read this, I couldn't believe it. I thought, how could this be possible? He's such a good guy. Why would he have an affair with a lowly beggar? Well, back in those days, it was common for wealthy men to have mistresses on the side. As long as you had enough money, you could do whatever you wanted. Yin Lize had an affair with Zhao Ru, but he never had any intentions of marrying her. So he arranged for her to marry the leader of the beggars clan. What a great guy, right? Just kidding. Yin Lize was actually a terrible person. He treated Zhao Ru very badly. He had no idea she gave birth to a son. Why did Yin Li Zheng have a unique name that didn't sound Chinese? This was because he was half Mongolian. His father was the leader of the Mongols, and his mother was a daughter of one of the 4 great families. That's why Yin Lize was able to join the escort alliance. He used his position to gather intelligence for the Mongols. Basically, he was a double agent. Yin Lao's was one of the most formidable characters in the novel. He possessed a special ability called the Dragon Claw Hand. This ability was so powerful that only a few people could survive its attack. Even the leader of the Beggars clan had to use his sword to defend himself against this move. Yin Lize was nearly invincible. The only reason he lost in the end was because he underestimated his opponents. Zhang Wuji inherited his father's fighting style. However, he had to train for many years before he mastered it. In fact, the Dragon Claw Hand was so powerful that once Zhang Wuji used it, it caused great damage to the area around him. This move is not something you would use in a crowded area. Some of you might be wondering, wasn't Ding Mingxi Zhang Wuji's father in the TV series? Yes! In the TV series adaptation, Ding Mingxi was considered Zhang Wuji's father, but in the original novel, this was not the case. Ding Mingxi was like an uncle to Zhang Wuji. He was very close to Zhang Wuji and treated him like his own son. In fact, Ding Mingxi was one of the few people who knew about Zhang Wuji's parentage. Who do you think is a better match for Zhang Wuji, Yin Susu, or Zhao Min? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.